Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Kyle Clark. Millions of Americans would lose health coverage under a Republican plan to pay for President Trump's tax cuts. More than 1 million Coloradans rely on Medicaid.
9 News reporter Spencer Soisher joins us. And Spencer, we're not just talking about health coverage, but jobs as well.
Yeah, we spoke with a company today that relies on Medicaid to employ people with disabilities. This bill is not final yet, but they're concerned what it would do for their program if Medicaid's gutted.
There's a lot that can be recycled.
There's plenty of work to do.
This is a huge gaylord filled with old paint.
Taking old items and recycling them.
A lot of times we'll get in big batches of VHS tapes, which need to be disassembled because the plastic can be recycled.
At Sustainability, they give more than just a paycheck. The recycling company provides opportunities for people with disabilities.
It's dignity, it's a sense of purpose.
Meg Moore works for Sustainability. Medicaid pays for the company to hire job coaches who can train people with disabilities to work for them.
So without Medicaid, we unfortunately would not be able to run.
House Republicans are moving forward with a tax bill that would include deep cuts to Medicaid. The GOP says it's looking to slash federal spending. While the bill changes, Moore fears what a worst-case scenario would look like for the people the company serves.
Everyone would lose their jobs, unfortunately.
80 million adults and children across the U.S. are enrolled in the safety net program.
There's just a lack of awareness about what these Medicaid programs do.
And Moore says if the cuts happen, it's people like the workers at Sustainability who could be hurt.
People just don't have the full picture of what these services bring to somebody's life and how crucial they are for well-being and just for having that sense of living your life with agency and purpose.
The way this bill is written right now, the people who work at the company would need to maintain work eligibility requirements in order to keep their coverage, so they're at risk here too. Spencer Soisher, 9 News.
Another gorgeous and very warm, some would say hot, spring day is come and gone. A little change on the way for tomorrow.
Who are the people, Chris Spears, that would not call today hot, and why are they liars?
I don't know, but I'm with you. Hot. It was very warm. I ran the air conditioner at the top speed in the car as I was driving to work today. 67 in Central Park and Centennial, 72 still here in the backyard at 9 News. Over at the airport, 54 outside of the urban heat island effect, so a little cooler once you get outside of the city. Starting to see some low 60s and upper 50s now on our eastern plains and the high country. Still hanging on to some 40s and 50s and spots and some 60s out on the western slope. Speaking of the western slope, you had a very windy day. You still have some wind going on out there, gusting to 30 at Meeker, and we've had this little pocket of wind develop in Logan County, so Sterling and Sidney, Nebraska, quite windy for your locations. We are dry across the state. We have a trough of low pressure spinning just off to our west. Overnight, it'll make its way here, and it'll be here during the day tomorrow. That is going to bring us wind, some isolated storms, and some elevated fire danger. I'll break the details down for you in the forecast.
Eric and Lyle Menendez could soon be released from prison. Today, a judge in L.A. reduced their sentences from life without parole to 50 years to life. They're now eligible for parole. The brothers have served over 30 years for killing their parents in 1989. Their defense attorneys argued they acted in self-defense after years of sexual abuse by their father. Prosecutors said they killed their parents for a multi-million-dollar inheritance. The judge's ruling today is not the final step. The state parole board must still decide whether to release them from prison.
A driver accused of sexually assaulting a state legislator is now facing a felony charge. Today, prosecutors announced that unlawful sexual contact charge against 42-year-old Muhammadali Mukadarev. He is accused of assaulting Democratic Representative Jenny Wilford in North Glen last year. Prosecutors say he was acting as a Lyft driver using somebody else's car, somebody else's Lyft account. There's now a warrant out for his arrest. Representative Wilford is suing Lyft, claiming the company failed to protect her. She also sponsored a bill designed to improve rideshare safety through policies like allowing drivers to opt in with audio and video recordings of rides. That passed the legislature this year. We're waiting to see if Democratic Governor Jared Polis will sign it, considering that Uber has threatened to leave the state if it becomes law.
A woman in Texas has a bad reputation on the internet after being indicted on serious drug charges here in Colorado. 9 News Investigates found it was all a big misunderstanding. Gabriella Olds Googled her name while she was searching for jobs to learn what potential employers would see. Her name, her driver's license picture, all popped up in articles announcing the indictment of a Mexican drug cartel ring in Adams County. The stay-at-home mom of 4 hired a criminal defense attorney who told her U.S. Marshals could show up at her home any day.
I've never even gotten a speeding ticket. I have no criminal record whatsoever, and just out of the blue, they just destroyed that in a moment.
Gabriella's attorney found one of the suspects was using her old Colorado phone number. Her attorney sent the DA bank statements, credit card transactions showing that Gabriella was living in Texas when she was accused of selling fentanyl in Adams County. 4 months later, the DA dismissed the indictment.
Former motel, long empty and falling apart, is finally getting torn down more than a decade after it closed. The old Royal Palace Motel at Colorado Boulevard in Colfax. That motel was built in 1969. It closed in 2013. Crime was a regular concern. Records show the owner of the property wants to build a 6-story apartment building there. However, that plan's still moving through the permitting process. You can buy a skyscraper in downtown Denver for a bargain right now. One developer just bought 2 on 17th Street for a total of just more than $3 million. That is about 90% off where they were 6 years ago. He plans to turn those skyscrapers into more than 700 apartments. Experts blame the decline in the commercial real estate market on the pandemic. COVID hit, Denver's offices were left empty, and a lot of those employers did not come back. Now developers are betting on this conversion to housing.
In the end, I think Denver will benefit from more people living downtown than working downtown.
Vacancy rates in Denver's central business district are around 25 to 30% for office space. Not good, obviously, but not the worst in the country. Places like Austin, San Francisco, Seattle, Bay Area, they have higher rates. Those are cities with a lot of tech jobs. That industry now has a lot of remote work.
A nonprofit in Colorado helping immigrants file asylum claims says they've seen a big rush as previously protected groups now face deportation under the Trump administration. Hope Has No Borders has been putting on asylum clinics since last year. They say they've helped families fill out 700 asylum applications. Each application doesn't necessarily mean one person. It can also be for an entire family. So they say they've helped thousands.
I think what we're seeing now is kind of more folks that are concerned about the changes that we're seeing in the country, and so they're kind of just jumping in with a little more urgency to try to get their applications in as the most, I think that feels the most protective to them.
The nonprofit says they've seen a lot of people come in for help since the Trump administration ended temporary protected status for Venezuelans. Colorado is dealing with a shortage of workers in mental health.
9 News reporter Janelle Finch is along now. And Janelle, you've learned that one university is working to close this gap.
MSU Denver is set to graduate its first cohort of students who were offered a cash incentive to take their mental and behavioral health passions straight into the workforce.
Some of the simplest questions aren't asked often enough.
How have you been?
Lisette Uiba is a clinical intern with the Colorado Dream Foundation. She says she's the sounding board she didn't have when she needed it.
In middle school, I was going through a lot of hard, difficult feelings.
So now, a master's student at MSU Denver, she sits down with Denver area kids to ask them how they're doing.
I'm here to just listen and take this in whatever direction they want to take it.
Uiba's work addresses a gap the state is tracking. The Colorado Behavioral Health Administration says by 2026, the state is projected to face a shortage of more than 4,400 behavioral health professionals. Upon graduation,
tomorrow,
she plans to dedicate at least 6 months of continued clinical work in Denver. She's one of the first graduates in MSU's Building Denver's Mental Health Workforce program, which guarantees a stipend if graduates commit to giving back to the community.
It just makes me feel really great to know that there's other people who have similar passions, and we're all trying to address maybe different gaps, but it all falls within the same realm, which is like helping others.
Uiba knows there needs to be more people asking the simple questions.
And sometimes it does, need to be asked so that you can give yourself the time to sit down and take care of yourself, whatever that means or however that looks like.
She's ready to help meet the need.
Because Uiba speaks Spanish, she says she's also looking to use her skills to address the gap of Spanish-speaking social workers. She says she'll begin working full-time June 1st. Janelle Finch, 9 News.